Hello everyone, my name is Sparky from Sparky Gaming, and welcome back to the town of St. Sparky. This is episode 4, and today we are going to be talking about Milestone Tiny Town. Now, things may look a little bit different since the last episode, considering there's a bunch of new districts now. And I did add on a little bit because I did have a little mishap off camera where on my toggle it I didn't have icons on, and basically what those are is if like there's not enough power or if there's no water at a specific building, and like all these trash icons that I'll deal with later. Yeah, I didn't know they were on, but anyways, let's kind of get into some of the new stuff and go over it. So I mean, this might be a little bit different. Just because there's a little mishap. I was trying to record this episode, going a little bit longer than I thought. Okay, let's just do this a different way because I'm also recording this the day before, and I also need to edit this by tomorrow. So I'm just gonna be doing it in one day, recording and editing in the same day, and I haven't done that in a while. You can also see that the name has changed, Sparky Industry. Now it was called Old Town Industrial Park. But I thought, okay, well, considering the naming scheme so far with what we have, I thought it was appropriate to call it that. We also have some more districts, like I had said, talking about the naming scheme. So we have the original site of St. Sparky. We have the West Edition, because, as you can see by the districts, this is to the west. Now, I don't know what direction is what in this game. Now, I'm sure there's probably a mod out there that says what direction is north and south and whatever. But I'm just going to be using, like, straight ahead is north. So, north, and then you got the Eastern Edition, that's where that comes from. You got south, and then you have west. So that's where this Western Edition comes from. And then we have this northern St. Sparky, and then we have little St. Sparky, and then we have bigger St. Sparky, little and bigger. I might readjust some of these neighborhoods. We're going to be talking about the tiny town, the Milestone. So we have a couple new things. We have some park areas and industry areas. We have landscaping tools, some event and then park policies. We have parks and plazas, which have to deal with these policies, and industry areas, which is the same thing like with this. And then we have some more unique buildings. I won't be talking about these today, but just know that the industry or unique buildings are in the same spot. Let me just close this. But there is just another level with some more, and some of these over here are DLC specific, so if you don't have Green Cities or Park Life, unfortunately you won't be able to access. Alright, let's get back into our milestones. We have a whole bunch of new policies. Some of them have to do with parks, some of them have to do with industry, and some of them are just regular. So, we also have some new paths, some new industry roads, which are kind of good considering we have industry areas now. We have some new canals, more fences. We have more buildings, parks and plazas. Most of these, high school, which provide education in our city. Library also has to do with education. More parks and plazas, and then another high school, and that's about it. All right, so let's go over policies first. Now, some of them have to do with industry or park, which I really can't really show you right now, but I can tell you about them once we look at the milestone tab. So the policies are in the same spot, right next to this stack of bills, and you cover over it, it's the economy tab. Now, to the right of it, it's policies, and it's a paper with a check mark in it. And before this milestone, we only had these 3 to look at. Now we have this one, the pet ban, smoking ban, parks and rec, schools out, and then preferred parks, and then park maintenance. I'm just gonna go over what we can go over, and then once we do build a park, I will talk about those policies then, or the industry. So, okay, let's go over some of these new policies. We have the pet ban, which basically, no pets in a certain area. There's less garbage, but there's also citizens aren't as happy, which kind of balances out, but kind of do want to have pets at least in some part of your city. This would probably most likely be applied in like bigger cities, like a capital city. For me, that would be Minneapolis or Madison, more in like the downtown areas. We got the smoking ban, less people smoking, which is definitely a good thing in my book. We got better health, less happiness. Parks and rec. It increases the land value at parks and plazas, which is something new in this milestone. But, it raises the budget by 20%, which is not that great. We also have the schools out tab, which basically makes citizens go to jobs instead of schooling. And then we also have 2 more relating to parks. So preferred parks and then park maintenance boost. So preferred parks basically it draws more people there, 10% more, but it also costs 100 credits per park area or per plaza. And then park maintenance boost increases the park maintenance vehicle shift by 10%, but also costs 80 credits. The next thing we have on our milestone is we covered some of these areas, which I didn't necessarily cover them, but I will talk about these when we get to them. And then we talked about some of these policies, park policies we'll talk about when we get to the park. And there's some policies regarding industry that we'll talk about once we actually deal with that. We're going to talk about landscape right now. So, go all the way to the left. Under your money, there's going to be this shovel and dirt. And if you hover over it, it's going to say landscape. And for me, I actually do have 2 extra things that you will not get in vanilla. But I'm not going to be talking about those right now. But basically, let's talk about these 4 right here. Now, some of these are pretty self-explanatory. The shift terrain basically raises or lowers the terrain. So if I right-click, it's gonna you're gonna lower the terrain. I'm just gonna get rid of that, and then if you left click, it's gonna raise it, making a hill. You have this level terrain, which basically makes the land go to the preferred height that you want it to go to. So if you have this lowered land and you want it to get to this height, that's why you would use this level terrain tool. Better for like flattening if you have like an island or something, or some things that you want to be the same height and there's differing heights in the area in your map. That's what I would recommend using it for. You also have the soften terrain, which is probably the most useful tools in the game and probably one of the most used in the game. So basically what this soften terrain tool does, it basically softens the hard edges of terrain. Now it would be most useful if you were using it for, say, if you had a cliff in your map and you didn't want it to look so hard, or if you didn't want like the hard cliff face, what you could do is use this soften terrain tool and clean it up a little bit. Or if you had a hill, you want to make that look a little bit better, you could do that. Slope terrain tool is a tool that is used to slope up terrain and most likely used when building roads if it's in a hilly area. As you can see, there is a lot of elevation change here. Let's just say that I had a road crossing the river. That probably might not be the best spot. But if I wanted to have a gentle slope up to here, what I would do is I would press the left mouse button and then I'd want it to get it up here. Now, I mean, it's not going to look that great, but basically that's landscaping in a nutshell. Now let's go over to parks and plazas. Now, parks and plazas are actually something that you want to have down in your city. The citizens will be happy if I put one of these down. How I configured my road network, I have it, let me turn on node snapping. If I show you, it's going to be 8 by 8. 8 units by 8 units. Now, some of these are way the heck bigger than that. Yeah, see, this is like big. It will destroy my houses, and it's telling me that the space is already occupied, so I can't place it there. So what I would do is I would find a dog park. That's what I like to use usually, and I can place some of these down, and it's gonna have a whole area of effect. This green circle, if I zoom out a little bit, it's gonna affect all of that. You do want your citizens to be happy, because that does contribute to the citizens' happiness. So where would be the best? Probably somewhere in the middle, probably around this general area. So if I just place it right there, I'm gonna get green spaces, which basically changes the happiness. So if I go to this info views and then this citizen happiness, this, well, it's at 50% right now, but it did increase. Okay, so it is increasing just because I put that down. Commercial is at 71, which they're okay. 84, it went down a little bit, and some of these buildings are upgrading, which is good, and that does increase the land value. Let's go to something else. Talking about policies, we'll talk about some of these other ones later. Park Pass, that's another thing that we have that's new. So if we go back to the parks and plazas, actually it's not in the parks and plazas, it's under landscaping. So we have all these tabs up here, and this landscaping tools is obviously what is shown. Now if I go over to the next one, it's going to say pass. And there's a whole bunch of them, and some of them are unlocked and some of them are DLC exclusive, like these are for campus areas, but we do have some of these normal ones. I think that's part of vanilla, because I think the actual dark was part of vanilla. But you have some of these other ones, Park Life, all of these are the new ones. So, and basically these are just like regular pedestrian paths, and I'm not sure if we talked about these yet, but basically it's just a different type of path. So people can walk on these, and these are can be used in a zoo or a nature reserve or an amusement park or as a regular park. Another thing that we have is more roads. So we already have, if I go to roads and click on the second tab, small roads, I have these small industry roads, and these are part of the industry DLC. But what we have new now is, instead of we have a 2-lane, we have a 4-lane now, and let me just find them. We have this, and then we have some of the smaller ones too. Okay, we have these, I believe these 3. Or is it 4? Nope, or it is 3. So we have 2-lane one. Oh, okay, so the 2-lane one-way, and then we have a 1U one-way, and then we have 1U 2-way industry, and then we have the 2-lane one-way. So kind of confusing, but those are part of these 1U roads are part of Vanilla Plus. So, but I will actually talk about this. So this basically is, I'm not sure if we have talked about some of these roads, but basically this is just 4 lanes, and it serves industrial area. It has a little bit of paint in the middle, and there's also some of these lamp posts and some of these like cones or barriers from the middle, and basically it's just 4 lanes. Alright, so I have some canals and some fences to talk about. Alright, so let's go over fences, obviously, since I have fences on here right now. So park fence, okay, I do have proper tree anarchy on. I'm not sure if I have like the mod where it makes things straight. But basically, you know, you have a fence here, and what I can do is if I turn off node snapping, and then let's go back to fence. What I can do, let me just turn off road guidelines. They'll keep on the grid. But basically, you just have a fence here, and if this was vanilla, this would be really useful because it eliminates the zoning. You can use the curve road tool and the freeform tool to get these how you like. I'm not sure how this is on vanilla, but for me, you got the water structures tab. Couple of things down from the fences. We have a K, I know, or key, depending on how you say it, or quay. We have the shallow canal, medium canal, deep canal. Those are just some canals that you can use to make water where you want it to go. Alright, so I think we don't have that much left to discuss, but one thing, or the things that we do have to go over are some of these high school related buildings, the library, community school, and then Institute for Creative Arts. If this was just vanilla, you would have this high school and then a library, and then you have this high school. In the Green Cities DLC, you also get the community school and the Institute for Creative Arts. Basically says it could be used instead of elementary school. And the same thing goes for this Institute for Creative Arts. It can be used for high school as well. If you really wanted to use these, you really could, but right now, as far as we are in the game, I wouldn't recommend it. And I am going to put high school down, put it right here. So we also have the library, part of education, gives small bonus to education when it's within the building radius. Basically, it also gives off some entertainment values. It could be part of a park if we really want it to be. I'm not going to put this down because it's kind of big, so I don't really want to wreck my network that I have right now. But anyways, I will see you in the next one, and I hope to see you then. Alright, peace.